Prior to being a tennis coach, I was a competitive tennis player as a junior. I played that through to 18 when I went to university. And then after that I came back and set up my own business called Premium Tennis. And I've been doing that for 10 years now, coaching a variety of ages from the ages of 4 right up until people in their 80s. At university I studied at Bath University doing sports coaching and education. And in that we looked at a variety of things of psychology, history of sport, development things, but we also looked into some modules on movement patterns and how we move, how we learn to move, and some of the basis behind just how the body works, I suppose. That was useful for learning certainly some sort of degree of biomechanics and looking at, I guess, ways to get the best out of your body rather than just going on a tennis court and hitting tennis balls. At the age of 13, I had a cartilage removed in my right knee, about 25% of it. And just since then I've just tried to protect it really. I went through a few years of wearing support and strapping on that right knee. And then post that I decided that wasn't ideal because it weakened the knee, so I guess I did some work towards improving it. But for the most part I just managed it. You could actually see that in some of my tennis. I'd load a lot more off my left leg than my right leg. I've been more reluctant to plant heavily on the right leg, and also when I did the split step, that's when the movement just before the opposition hits the ball gets you set and gets you ready. My right knee would slightly cave in. You could see it happening again. It affected how quickly I could push off towards that side compared to pushing off my left. It was okay, I got away with it by being quite fast beyond the point of that first step, but it did affect my movement and occasionally it would cause me pain. Since wearing the insoles, I started at that first plug, if you like, the level 1. That I found quite a low dome at the top of the Barefoot Science Insoles. It almost didn't do anything, so I was feeling quite smug at that point. I went straight through 2 and 3 fairly easily, and then when I hit the level 4, that suddenly made quite a big difference. And I found my foot was quite sore for a few days, it really felt like it had been worked. But after a week or so, again my foot adjusted and I got used to it, and that process continued straight through to 7. It was almost a week and a half for each of those stages. Each time I put one in, it was really hard work for probably the first 3 days, and then it got better and I didn't feel it. And I just noticed that through each stage, I would say again, you just felt more support in that side of the body. So my right leg particularly, it just felt like perhaps it was a little bit firmer planted. I would say the foot felt a bit like it wasn't collapsing as much, that knee wasn't moving in as much. And it was noticeable throughout, I would say, and then since wearing them, I think I've had level 7 in for over a year now, I've had very few issues. My legs have been pretty solid. I haven't had any issues with the knee hurting when it caves, when it comes in. I'd say you can see in most of my movement patterns, it's less likely to cave. The feet look more stable, the knees don't look different. You can see before the right knee used to come in and now it doesn't as much. But yeah, just from an injury prevention point of view, it's been excellent. I get very few niggles, should we say, now. I just carry on as normal, which for me is hugely beneficial. I'm on my feet 7 hours a day minimum, I would say, coaching, and I play a couple of times a week. And just those things together, if you don't do that, it starts to build up, I suppose. And I was every 3 or 4 weeks prior to the insoles, I would just get sore knees, I would say. Maybe the easiest way to describe it, and that's more or less gone away. So I used to train in the gym barefoot. I didn't wear any shoes, and I felt like that would be the most natural thing to do, the best connection to the ground. But whatever, again, problems I had going on in the leg, it wasn't solved by just not wearing shoes. You could still feel the problems, you could still feel the knee. So I decided to wear the insoles in the gym as well. I put them in the slimmest shoes I could find, so some barefoot shoes. And again, it made quite a big difference. You could just feel the balance and support my feet were giving me as opposed to not wearing them prior. I think squats, before I wore them, I was on 90 kilograms, and now I'm doing 125. And the deadlift has gone up from, I think it's about 125 to 182, so that's been massive. How much that's improved, and it's all just because I haven't had to focus on the problems that leg and that side of the body was giving me in terms of imbalances, and focus more on doing the lift properly.